Hello everyone, I'm Harry Godinho and I'm going to present to you my research proposal for the impact evaluation course, which is called the short-term impact of non-conditional cash transfers in Colombia. The purpose of the program is to evaluate an utopian program that consists of 400,000 cash transfer to 2,500 households in Boyacá, Colombia. The duration of the program is 9 months, and I'm going to try to answer the following questions. First, do poor people become lazy and awkward if you give them money to cover partially their basic needs? What a famous Colombian composer says, si la vida fuera estable todo el tiempo, yo no bebería ni malgastaría la plata, holds empirically. Second, in village, in this program takes place, are there really hyperinflationary effects as economic theory says? Third, which are the impact of this program on education and health variables? State-of-the-art research in empirical economics says no, there are no problems. A 2015 paper published by Banerjee in the MIT and a paper published in the Quarterly Journal of Economics in 2016 by Haushofer and Shapiro says the negative effects are too low and there are multi-positive and significant effects. Do these effects holds for the Colombian case? That's what I'm going to try to answer. Before explaining the specification of regression, it's important to mention the details of the program. Regarding to eligibility criteria, the individuals must not be registered in previous social programs, such as Familias en Acción or Ingreso Solidario. The individuals must live in rural areas of municipalities of Boyacá, a Colombian department, and their applicants must score below a system cutoff point level. SISBEM is a classification established by the government on how poor you are according to a score that is assigned to each individual. The randomization strategy is two-stage strategy in two levels: village or veredas in Colombia, which are divided between treatment and control randomly, and households, which are divided between treatment, spillover, and poor control. Furthermore, I made two additional randomizations in order to answer questions about the impact of the amount of the transfers. I furthermore randomized by large and small transfers, and in the last case, I randomized by monthly and lump sum transfers. Regarding to outcome variables, I analyzed the impact of the program on non-durable expenditures. We refer to total monthly spending on non-durable goods. I am deeply interested in the composition of expenditures, local money revenues, of course in real terms, human capital variables such as education and health. In the first case, I analyzed the impact on educational expenses per child and the proportion of household children enrolled in schools. And in the last case, I am interested in measuring if they get sick or not, the proportion of illnesses for which a doctor was consulted, and several measures for children living in each household. And finally, employment variable which refer is if treatment individuals are unemployed, and if they get a job, which was the employment duration. The certification follows a similarly regressions approach. I estimate a large number of regressions that are correlated by the residual term. So this model accounts for this case. Specifically, I regress outcome variables on village fees effects, a dummy variable related to treatment households versus spillover households, and baseline outcomes. To analyze the impact of lump sum or money transfer, I follow the second regressions, in which I regress outcome variables on the interaction between monthly transfers and small transfers. I am interested in beta 1 value and significance, and a dummy representing large transferences, a spillover variable that I'm going to discuss in the next slide, and the baseline outcome. And finally, impact I analyze is if large or small transfers make a difference on the impact of the program. I follow the same specification explained above, but I only include a dummy variable of large transfers. There are several methodological issues that must be considered to analyze the impact of the program. I'm going to mention which ones are important in this case and how I plan to deal with. The first one is related to basic balance. There shouldn't be significant differences between treatment and spillover household in the baseline survey. I plan to run several regression tests specified by Hochschaffer and Shapiro in a quarter-year Journal of Economics paper. The first one is related to general equilibrium effects. Arguably, one of the negative problems that may arise is inflationary trends. To check if these effects exist, I plan to run this regression in which y e sub b is the inflation rate in wages and prices for each village, and t sub b, which is a treatment dummy. Using this specification, it's possible to analyze if these effects operate. Another one is related to control variables, which are, of course, most important problem. I have in mind a large list of possible variables that I plan to register one by one, but I plan to select which ones are interesting to using a CLAP algorithm. This association mining algorithm can detect combination of patterns whose associated variables must be included as controls. Another possible problem is related to attrition, in which case I plan to use a methodology discussed in class. First, I use feature selection algorithms to determine which variables affect the attrition in households. Then I calculate two probabilities of no attrition for each household, one with only relevant variables and another with irrelevant and relevant variables. By calculating the ratio of both, I use this resulting variable to give more weights to households with lower attrition propensity. Regarding compliance, I plan to use another methodology which consists of dividing the intent to treat impact by the parameter obtained by regressing the treatment variable on the assignment variable. This LAT parameter reflects the impact of the program. Finally, although by following a two-stage randomization process, I minimize the spillover problems, I plan to follow Miguel and Kremer's specification to account for spillovers created by short geodistances aimed on treatments. These are the bibliographical references, and thank you so much.